Hello, guys. Welcome back once again to this new tarot reading. I'm going to continue with the 80s. I'm sorry, with the 80s. I'm thinking about 80s right now. TXT series. And actually, Yeonjun, it's the last member of this series. So we're going to see a little bit about him. It's the first time that I do a reading for him, so let's see. I know he's a Virgo with a moon in Libra, so yes, he does give me a much more Libra energy than Virgo, actually. So I wouldn't be surprised if his rising is in Virgo, is in Libra too. So because he gives me more Libra energy than Virgo, actually. Um, Especially because he is really handsome. He's really a pretty boy. Not to this any Virgo male, but actually Virgo male, I mean, they are good looking in the sense that they do take care of themselves. They are very clean. They actually like to look very organized, and they do take care of their hygiene, so probably a little bit too much. So they tend to be like well put together, but at the same time, I there's something about their energy that is like too mercurial sometimes, that is hard to stare at them and being like, you give me beautiful vibes. It's more than they have this nature of awkwardness. So um but in the case of Jeonjun, I have the feeling that he is very smooth, like a Libra, very smooth, um very laid back, and also very elegant. So let's see what cards he got for the archetypes. He got judge, mediator, and visionary. So he's definitely a special. So I can see why Big Hit casted him, and the other members too, because each of them had this special aura around them. Um, in the case of Jung, actually the first card, the Judge, I have the feeling that this actually talked to me a lot about the Libra traits, about his Libra moon, actually about the influence of his Libra moon, because the Judge, the mediator, all of them talk about balance, and all of them talk about considering both parties of a situation and trying to maintain a certain harmony, and also to think about others, and to always trying to be in the best of your abilities, to be as fair as possible. So I think that he is in this role of trying to bring balance to the group, or maybe to the environment he's with. He is definitely someone that he has his own ideas, of course, because the less archetype is the visionary. So he definitely is. I believe he's much more ambitious um, that what we can see now from him. I think he will eventually become really influential in the sense of these ideas that he has. I don't see him just doing one thing for the rest of his life. I see him like trying to get into different kinds of fields, and also learning new activities, and also meeting new people. So for him, that's why I see that his moon in Libra is very much about connections. Also, I know that actually connecting with people, or maybe networking, is more attributed to Aquarius and Geminis, but With him, I have the feeling that since he has this attractiveness and he's also very well behaved. I know that the word is not well behaved because he's not a dog, or he's not actually a young child. So the word best well behaved is not, but he's very polite. He has nice manners. He has nice mannerism. He's the representation of harmony and beauty. So it's hard to miss him. It's hard to be like, oh yes, I'm not looking at you. I'm not paying attention to you. Actually, he is someone that deserves to be in the spotlight in the sense that he's really attractive. So it's nice to see beautiful people on screen. It's that's why visuals in a group have their um I mean, they have their moments to shine, and they have their own influence in the group and the role. That's why they're there. Actually, the first video, the first teaser that I saw of TXT, it was his of the crown teaser, and I was the first thing I thought of him was like, um, oh, this is uh another Taeyong, in the, in the sense that I I mm, I always think I always then after that, because I didn't know his name, I named him, like I was like, oh, this is the TXT Taeyong, the TXT B, because he reminded me a lot of PTSB. And now that I know his name, of course I know who he is, and I know how he differentiates. But when I was learning about them, and I saw that the first teaser was about him, the first thing I did was to relate him to Taeyong, and mostly because I saw the shape of his eyes are really similar to Tae's. Because the other members actually do not have any kind of resemblance, at least in my perception when I watched them for the first time. But in the case of him, the first time I saw him and I saw those giant, distinctive eyes, I was like, yes, he is the B of the group. And but that was my way of trying to integrate information while not knowing anything about them. So, but he was the first one that caught my attention. So probably in the group he would be my bias if I would stand the group. Actually, I'm not a fan of TXT, but I love their music. But I wouldn't consider it myself a fan because I'm learning about these new groups. I'm an army actually. So, but I do have a great respect, and I've seen them grow a lot, and I love the content that they are putting, that they are doing, and they are growing really fast. So that's really amazing to see. And in the case of Jeonjun, for me, in my perspective, he can be like very similar or very um, similar to Taeyong, but actually, now that I see him growth, and I see a little bit more of him and his concept and everything he does. I can see the difference, and that they are totally two different people, especially because Jung has I'm not saying that B is not handsome, because B is handsome, but he is handsome in this way of being maybe mysterious and being a little bit giving these mysterious poses and stuff. And in the case of Jeonjun is beautiful, and is also it's there's some kind of harmony in his energy. He seems so, I mean, he just there's something about his energy that is so fluent, that it flows like a river almost. Also, he can be mysterious, but there's something about him that it's just he seems so comfortable with being beautiful in the sense that he looks almost like a god, like a goddess, like because he has a bit of feminine aspects for me. He must be really in tune with his feminine side, and this is his moon in Libra actually. So for me, when I think about his energy, I think about softness. I think also about being flirty and being flirtatious, being seductive, but not in a strong, like intimidating way. Actually, he's alluring, but not in that strong and like distant kind of perception. So I think he's actually he's really, there's something about harmony in him that is really beautiful, that is really touching. Actually, I'm struggling trying to find the words because you cannot put beauty into words. So is this feeling of that it's touching, and I don't know how to express it with words, but I guess the ones that are their fans would understand better what I have to say. So the cards, the judge and the mediator and the visionary, it talks that somehow he's really active in the role in the group. Actually, he has very strong ideas, and he has a great sense of balance, and also he's a good listener. So that's why he has these kinds of influence. He has this kind of influence of sometimes maybe being, knowing how to be a diplomat, knowing when to give in, knowing when to negotiate, knowing when to um, just be flexible so you can come to a sort of agreement. So for him, for example, if he wants to like to make an important decision or to bring an idea, for him it's important that everyone collaborates and that everyone has a saying in it and that everyone agrees. He just doesn't want to let anyone think that they are not important or that they are not considered. Actually, he's really fair. But there's also a sense of authority also. So I don't know. I know he's not the leader. I know this. But somehow he has some kind of authority, because the judge archetype gives me this that he's very knowledgeable when it comes to what's right and what's wrong. So he somehow has a bit of authority in the group. I don't know if maybe he had a lot of training, or maybe if he, because I know he was casted, of course, because he's really good looking. Of course, we do not have to rule that out. But he also is really talented, and that somehow he is also a very good student. So I can see him like learning really fast, because that's very Virgo trait, and I can see him like really putting all the work and all the effort and all the consistency, and I see him like learning things really fast. So he gives me this vibe of being the popular guy. Like, despite of him being attractive and being a really handsome young man, he is really intelligent. And actually, I believe that it's like his performance or his way of learning, it was really impressive, or someone was really impressed by him after they cast him, when he started to train, when he came into the training process. They were like really amazed, in the sense that he was exactly what they were looking for, in the sense that he wasn't only just a pretty face. He was a lot more complex, and also he's really smart. There's something about him that's why I say with the visionary card that his career is going to grow really fast, and he is going to maybe involve himself in projects that are solo projects. um, but there's something about his popularity that this is why he will be able to do more things outside the group, because it's like a lot of people want him, and this is his moon in Libra again. A lot of people want him. A lot of people want to have him involved in their projects, but at the same time he is really smart. So I believe this is one of his greatest assets, that he is someone that is very in contact. He's not naive. He's very in contact with the industry and how the industry works. So he obviously knows what's going on, and he knows the do's and the don'ts of being in the public eye. So I know that Bank PD always talk to them, and of course they must have like some kind of coaching when it comes to these matters. But he is a quick learner when it comes to this, and actually he's really quick at like seeing people's intention, especially when it comes to people that is not related to their company. Because I believe that being part of Big Hit, they are really like supported, and they are being really well taken care of. But whenever he has, it's like sometimes the company biggest fears is when they do like these solo projects and they have to go to like maybe a different I don't know, a different place, a different company, a different shooting location, something like that they don't know those people, and they are like really cautious and a bit distrustful of letting their idols go there, because they know that there's always these people that want to get some inside information, and that they also sometimes this maybe these shows, they have these very nasty tricks where they maybe sometimes they do, or they ask really uncomfortable questions to see how the idol reacts, just to so they can throw dirt at him, like, oh look, I asked him this and look how he reacted. He looked at me funny, he gave me the evil look, or he laughed, or he became real serious all of a sudden. Are these small like things and data that they can use and somehow use to actually to ruin someone's image. It's sad and it's really cruel, but this is how it goes. They are like, they take these moments with the idols and or these interactions, because everyone is really like sensitive when it comes to, oh, did he greet when he came in, did he looked at you in the eyes when you were giving him, I don't know, the microphone. It's like, because there's always these people gossiping, and they are always like, they want to grab these moments to be like, oh, this idol turned their back on me, they were really harsh with me, or something like this. So in this case, I believe that Yeonjun is really smart, and he has this beautiful smile, and he has this beautiful like gesture that he does in a situation of discomfort or uncomfortableness or awkwardness. So this is why I think he's really diplomat. He will not let himself intimidate by others. It's like he knows his role, he knows what he has to do, he knows why he is wanted. He is really in tune And he also knows how things work. So of course, maybe, I don't know, he can participate, I don't know, in a show and being actually really uncomfortable for something, but he would always put the best smile on his face, and he would try to turn the situation into his favor. So he will not let people like talk mean things about him, or being like, oh yes, he was really rude with me. So this is what I'm getting, that he is really smart in that sense. He's really smart, and I'm really glad to see this because I think it was the Subin. It was the first reading I did for Subin that I also caught this, like, all these people gossiping behind his back or trying to become friends with him, so they could get information from him, of him and from him. So it's a nasty environment actually. So when it comes to visionary, what I said is this: he will definitely make great things in the future. He will be he will be like introduced to different kinds of way of expression of art. So maybe, I don't know, photography or art, something like that, or maybe doing paintings or something like that. And he has, like I said, he has this muse vibe, this very Libra thing that is what caught my attention, what I wanted to say at first. His presence, his aura, his physical attributes gives me muse vibes, with his with his talent, but also with his image. He can serve of influence, and he can be a muse for others, but especially when we are trying to portray what is beauty, or how beauty is. He gives me this very aesthetic, everything aesthetic, it's him. So I don't know why I get this, but it's deeper than music. I mean, it goes beyond the music. It has to do with the music, but it's also other ways of channeling creativity and expression. So I don't know. I wouldn't say acting. Actually, acting, I don't think acting. Maybe he did some acting, I don't know, but I don't see him like that he would need to talk to inspire others. I see him more like being himself and just being there and being himself. So let's see the cards that came out for him: the Sun, the Four of Swords, the Ten of Wands, the Five of Swords, the Six of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, the Four of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles, the Strength, and the Four of Cups. So he's definitely working a lot on himself, especially to grow up, to do some growing up. And because I don't know if he lately had been also doing some like recording for some shows or some appearances, but he had been really working really hard, showing his best side. But he's also struggling with the fact that we are still in the pandemic situation. So he feels like putting all this energy to rest actually is really worrisome. He actually has a lot of fears and a lot of he's not someone that he just wants to lay still. He has a lot of things he wants to do. He has a lot of ideas, so I think that when it comes to ideas, he can write them down, but at the same time, he's also a man of action. So I don't know, I don't remember pretty well, but I think his Mars was in a fire sign, so he's also very passionate and um, very like um I don't know, there's something about him being really courageous when it comes to achieving a goal. So he doesn't like to be in this waiting process for things to be okay or for them to be able to get out more. I think there are a few restrictions when it comes to how much they can go out to different places and do some work. So probably is what I have seen also in Taeyang, reading that they are actually in this studio, they are in this new place, in this new building, and they have all the tools available, they have all the different material things that they would need, but at the same time um, there's this heaviness in the air, especially because they want to produce and they want to bring out so much new things, and they feel like they have to wait, and that waiting is really annoying actually for him. It's like he feels like this is not like this is not for him to be patient actually. But yes, there's also something about, because we have the six of coins here, of pentacles, so he's definitely very very passionate and very protective of his belongings, and also of his finances. So maybe there's something about finances, or maybe there's something about gaining money, that he actually would like to make more money, or maybe take other projects so he could like produce more money, so he could gain more money. I see him being really courageous when it comes to this move, but somehow the company is like, no, we're not going to let you out there and go to this, I don't know, go to do this gig that we don't know, we are not sure, we have to do research, we have to see if this place, if this company is trusting, how they work. So they are like, wait a minute. And actually he is not very happy about it, because he's actually really interested in making money. He wants to make he wants to like to do like I don't know how you say it in English, but it's like to do other things, like maybe I don't know, like being an MC, or doing other activities that could promote him and could also give him like this freedom to be like to maybe make money on his own, in the sense of his own persona, or not presenting himself with the group, but presenting being him on his own. So they are like thinking about it, and actually um they're just thinking about it, because um I have the feeling that he actually is really ambitious, in the sense that he is, and he is also really stubborn about it. So they are like actually considering it, but they are like not giving him the permission, because somehow too much alone promotion can like they don't want him to expose himself like a solo artist. I mean, they want him to be out there but with a group. So they are like, yes, maybe you can like have other gigs, you can have like maybe I don't know, like Subin, like maybe being an MC or doing something, but just go out there and do your thing and come back, and remember that you are part of a group. So don't go too far, like don't distance yourself, because remember that you are here because you are part of a group. So it's not that he is acting from a place of selfishness. It's actually because he's worried about money. And I know that probably you're like, oh, but he's part of it. But actually, I don't see that in when it comes to these kids. I see that there's like I don't I'm not saying that there's no money for them. There is, but somehow he just feels the urge to do other things. And I don't know if maybe he had tried to do something like this in the past and he had earned a very generous amount of money. So maybe he was like, oh, this was a good experience for me. I want to do it again. So, and then the other card, it's the page of pentacles and the strength. So yes, he will definitely have to do a lot of learning, a lot of like learning how to be patient actually. I think is the key of the question here, because he's not actually going to get what he wants, and he will start being a little bit like uneasy about it. He will be like really like not in a very good mood actually. He will be like, but I want to do what I want to do, and it's like he has his reasons actually. It's not that he's not been realistic. Actually, he's been actually really smart about it, but somehow it's like the company is like worried for other things. So it's like I said, there's someone, remember that female, that strong influential female that came for Taeyang. Maybe for Jeonjun, it's also it has to do with this female. You know, it's someone holding them back, like being really restrictive, like being like, oh, now you can get out, now you cannot get out, oh, now yes go, now don't go. So he's like really angry. He's like actually holding his, I don't know if you can see the strength card, that is this lady holding the mouth, the open mouth of a lion. So this card represents ourselves holding our basic instincts back, especially those of anger. So I think that he's like really trying to practice patience and not to get too angry, or maybe not to get too upset with this person that is saying no to him. But he's actually really upset because the last card it's the Four of Cups. So obviously there's he's not happy about this waiting process, and actually about having to wait patiently for someone to give them more to tell them when they can create content or when they cannot. I believe that they were given the opportunity to start working with things of themselves, but somehow he's like, I wouldn't say he's like, because he's acting a bit stubborn. So I don't know if maybe he had participated in some kind of activity that was really that made him feel really good, and really that it made him feel like this is something he wants to continue doing, that is not related to music actually. And he had such a great experience that he wants to go back, he wants to do it again. And somehow they're like, no, let's wait, let's see how the first project goes, and then we will see if we let you go a second time. So but and I think that what frustrates him the most is that he is like he's finding out that there are other producers or people that are involved in this activity that are requesting him to come back. So it's like he wants to go back, and there are people asking for him. So he's like, I want to go. He's like almost like crying of frustration, because he's like he wants to go. So I don't know if they have like a bigger reason why they don't let him go, but they are like, no, we just wait. Just don't get, they are like, don't get too greedy. I don't know why Korean use that word a lot about don't get too greedy, when actually it means that he is actually using this opportunity to express his own individuality and his own passion. So I don't understand why they call that greedy, because he's not being greedy actually. He's been expansive. He's been a visionary. He's been inspired, so he wants to taste new things. So that's okay. But actually, I believe that he will turn this like this so-called pause, or maybe this moment where they don't let him move toward his goal. He will use this moment to lock himself in his room and start practicing more of that activity. So I don't know what activity is. If maybe someone can give me some insight about what's that activity that he had been really into these last few months, or anything that he had participated that somehow made him feel good, that he was like, oh, this is so great, I want to do it again. So maybe if someone can clarify that for me, it would make me feel a little bit better, because I can feel his frustration, and I'm like, oh, let him go. I'm like, I'm already ruling for him, and I don't know him nor the situation. So guys, I'm going to leave it here. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you do, please give it a like and subscribe. So I will see you in the next video. Bye.